After the Hengyuan merger entered into exclusive negotiations, the frequency of meetings between Shen Yu'an and Lu Chenzhou increased significantly. They held meetings during the day and checked information at night. They occasionally argued over terms, but also reached a surprising consensus on the next step of Lu Wenchuan. At first, the Shen group and Lu group teams were very uncomfortable. After all, the personal relationship between these two people is too complicated. They are still partners in name, but in fact the divorce agreement has been signed. The outside world thinks that they are indestructible, but a few people inside know that they have separated long ago, and now, they are sitting at the same table again like the most tacit allies. Lin Jiyue commented privately, "You two are now like exes who can still open a company together after divorce." Shen Yu'an looked at him coldly. "You don't want the attorney's fees?" Lin Jiyue immediately looked down at the file. But to some extent, he was right. Shen Yu'an and Lu Chenzhou are no longer the protector and the protected in a contractual marriage, nor are they in the state of being covered in wounds and hurting anyone who gets close to them at the end of the second season. They are relearning how to work together as equals. Late that night, the two of them checked the first batch of system archives provided by Hengyuan in the Shen Group data room. The amount of data is huge and the time span is long, involving multiple old projects such as Shen Group, the Gu family, Xixing, and Lu Group. Shen Yuan's eyes felt sore, and he raised his hand to rub his eyebrows. Lu Chenzhou pushed a glass of warm water over. Shen Yu'an took a look. "You don't even hand over stomach medicine directly now?" Lu Chenzhou said, "You may not want to eat it." "What if I want to?" Lu Chenzhou took out the medicine and placed it next to the water glass. Shen Yu'an looked at his process of asking first and then giving, and suddenly smiled. Very light. But Lu Chenzhou saw it. His eyes softened a little, but he didn't press ahead. Shen Yu'an took the medicine and continued to read the information. At 1 o'clock in the morning, they finally found a set of key numbers. That set of numbers appeared in the mother's chip data and also in Hengyuan's backup system from 20 years ago. The corresponding project name is Lanzhou. Shen Yu'an looked at those two words, and his heart moved. Lan is the orchid of Mother Shenrulan. Boat, could it be Lu Chenzhou's boat? But 20 years ago, Lu Chenzhou was just a teenager and should have nothing to do with this project. Lu Chenzhou also frowned. "I have never seen this project before." Shen Yu'an enlarged the file index. "The founder is Shenrulan." Both of them were silent at the same time. Mother didn't just hide information. She also built an encryption project herself. The archive requires a double key. The first level is the chip in the safe, and the second level appears as a biometric backup. Identifier name, Shen Yu'an. Shen Yu'an's heartbeat suddenly accelerated. "Me?" Lu Chenzhou looked at the screen, his expression darkened. 20 years ago, Shen Yu'an was a child. Shenrulan actually bound the final key to him. This explains why everyone thought he was the key. Because he really is. Hengyuan's system prompts that it needs to compare old iris or blood samples. Lin Jiyue contacted the technician immediately. But Shen Yu'an was sitting on the chair and suddenly felt a chill running down his spine. "So they wanted me to die in my previous life, maybe not to get the information." Lu Chenzhou looked at him. Shen Yu'an has a very low sound. It's so that this information can never be opened. The room was eerily quiet. This inference is too reasonable. If Shen Yu'an is the only biological key, it would be easier to kill him than to steal the information from him. Lu Chenzhou looked extremely cold. He wanted to reach out and hold Shen Yu'an, but stopped. Shen Yu'an saw it and took the initiative to put his hand on the table this time. Not holding it directly, just placing it between the two of them. Lu Chenzhou looked at that hand. After a few seconds, he held it gently. Shen Yu'an did not hide. "Lu Chenzhou." "Yeah. I'm not asking you to save me this time." "I know." Shen Yu'an looked at the word Lanzhou on the screen. "I want you to come with me and open it." Lu Chenzhou squeezed his hand. "Okay." At this moment, they are no longer contractual partners, nor are they broken exes. They are equal allies. Each one is wounded, and each one is carrying a knife. And the door to the inn finally revealed a gap in front of the two of them. The dual key verification of the Lanzhou project is scheduled for 3 days. Hengyuan technology provides an offline environment, witnessed by Shin Group, Lu Group, and Lin Jiyue law firms. In order to prevent data leakage, the entire verification process is not connected to the external network, all equipment is checked in advance, and even conference room signals are blocked. However, Wenchuan took action faster than they imagined. The night before the verification, he made an appointment with Shen Yu'an in person. The venue is a private tea house in the old town. The invitation was straightforward. "Mr. Shen, I think we should talk about the things your mother left behind." When Shen Yu'an saw the message, Chenzhou was right next to it. He didn't say he was not allowed to go like before, he just asked, "Do you want to meet?" Shen Yu'an looked at that line of writing. Since he dares to show up, it means he still has chips in his hand. "I'll accompany you." Shen Yu'an raised his eyes. Chenzhou added, "If you agree." Shen Yu'an was silent for a second. "Agreed." The lights in the tea house are dim and the scent of sandalwood is very light. Wenchuan sat in the innermost private room with a pot of tea brewing in front of him. He still looked like the gentle elder, with kind brows and kind eyes, and even his smile was just right. But Shen Yu'an has seen too much of his evidence. There is nothing gentle in this man's bones. He was just used to sharpening his knives until there was no blood. "Yuan, sit down." Shen Yu'an is not moving. "Mr. Lu, we are not familiar enough to call each other by name." Wenchuan smiled. "You and Chenzhou were once friends, so you should call me uncle." Chenzhou stood beside Shen Yu'an with a cold voice. "You don't deserve it." A hint of coldness flashed across Wenchuan's eyes, and his smile soon returned. "It seems that the divorce didn't cause any separation between you." Shen Yu'an's eyes darkened. Wenchuan indeed knows. The divorce settlement has not been made public and very few people know about it. This shows that they still have Wenchuan's informants around them, or that Lu Group's legal process has been penetrated. Shen Yu'an sat down and spoke calmly. "Mr. Lu came to see me today. He wasn't just concerned about our personal status, was he?" Wenchuan poured him tea. "I just think that you are a smart person and should know that there are some truths that should not be revealed." Shen Yu'an looked at the cup of tea without touching it. "For example, the information my mother left behind? Such as what your father did when he was young." Shen Yu'an's eyes remain unchanged. Wenchuan continued, "Shen Shongshan is not as clean as you think. He signed the project that year and received the proceeds. If you open the data, Shin Group will be dragged into the mud again. You just rescued Shin Group, do you really want to destroy it with your own hands?" This is where Shen Yu'an hurts the most. Wenchuan is very good at picking wounds. Shen Yu'an lowered his eyes and smiled. "Mr. Lu, have you always felt that everyone is the same as you, only looking at interests and not right or wrong?" Wenchuan looked at him. Shen Yu'an raised his eyes. "If my father made a mistake, he should face it. But that doesn't mean you can continue to hide behind his mistakes." The smile on Wenchuan's face faded a little. "Young man, if you are too idealistic, you will pay the price." "I've already paid." Shen Yuan's voice became colder. "Isn't the previous life, or the car accident you arranged, the price?" Wenchuan's eyes changed slightly. For the first time, he showed real scrutiny in front of Shen Yu'an. "You know more than I thought." "Not enough." Shen Yu'an said, "So I will open Lanzhou." The air in the box suddenly solidified. Wenchuan finally stopped smiling. "If your mother were still alive, she wouldn't want you to do this." Shen Yu'an's fingertips tightened. Chenzhou said coldly, "Don't mention her." Wenchuan looked at him. "Chenzhou, you are still so naive. Do you think that by standing next to him, you are making up for being late in your previous life? But don't forget, if you hadn't touched the line inside Lu Group, Shen Yu'an wouldn't have been so closely watched." Shen Yu'an frowned. "What do you mean?" Chenzhou's face darkened. Wenchuan smiled.
Didn't he tell you? After what happened to Shen Group in the previous life, Lu Chenzhou tried to use Lu Group funds to take you away by force.
It was precisely because he moved so much that I was sure there must be something on you.
Shen Yu'an froze. Lu Chenzhou said in a low voice, I just wanted to take him out of the Gu family.
But what's the result? Lu Wenchuan said slowly, your protection reveals his importance.
Shen Yu'an was silent. This sentence is very poisonous. Because it's not completely fake.
Lu Chenzhou wanted to save him in his previous life, but this may have made Lu Wenchuan more certain that he was the key.
Lu Wenchuan looked at the expressions of the two people and his tone became gentle again. So, Shen Yu'an, are you really sure you want to investigate with him?
He is not the one who killed you, but his love will always make you more dangerous.
Shen Yu'an raised his eyes. This time, he didn't waver. You are in danger, not him. Lu Wenchuan narrowed his eyes. Shen Yu'an stood up.
Lu Wenchuan, what you fear most is that we trust each other.
That's why you cut the truth into pieces again and again and threw it in front of me, making me doubt him and making him blame himself. He looked at Lu Chenzhou and then back at Lu Wenchuan. You won this way once in your previous life. Not anymore in this life. After saying that, he turned and left. Lu Chenzhou follows him. When I walked out of the tea house, the night wind was very cold. Shen Yu'an suddenly stopped. Lu Chenzhou whispered, what he just said, I was originally going to. We'll talk about it after verification tomorrow. Shen Yu'an interrupts him. Lu Chenzhou looked at him. Shen Yu'an has a calm voice. I don't want to be led away by his words now. When Lanzhou opens it, I want you to explain everything about how you took me away from you in your previous life. Lu Chenzhou's eyes moved. Okay. Shen Yu'an looked into the distant night. Lu Wenchuan shows up. This means he is really anxious. And the more this happens, the more it shows that they are very close to the real core. On the day of Lanzhou verification, Shen Yu'an arrived at Hengyuan Technology very early. The conference room was temporarily transformed into an offline data room. There are 3 non-network devices on the table, one is used to read the chip, one is used to compare the biometric key, and the last one is used to generate an untamperable witness record. Lin Jiui Zhou Jibai, Hengyuan's technical supervisor, and 2 legal officers from Shen Group and Lu Group were all present. Lu Chenzhou is the last to arrive. He saw Shen Yu'an standing by the window and did not come forward to disturb him. He only stopped a few steps away. Shen Yu'an turned back. Let's get started. The technical supervisor inserts the chip. The Lanzhou project logo appears on the screen. The first key passed. Next, Shen Yu'an walks up to the biometric device. The system prompts that a double comparison of iris and blood samples is required. Lin Jiu, the technical supervisor, explained, this is an old high-security storage system, and Mr. Shen's childhood medical samples may have been reserved as a benchmark. Now only a small amount of fingertip blood is needed to complete the comparison. Shen Yu'an didn't hesitate. When the needle pricked his fingertip, he suddenly remembered the blood on his hands in the car in his previous life. His blood then represented death. This time, representatives reveal the truth. The comparison progressed jumped slowly. 30%. 60%. 99%. Pass. As soon as the screen went dark, a huge data tree expanded. Project name, Lanzhou. Founder, Shen Yu'an. Note, if this information is unsealed, it means that the risks related to Lu Wenchuan and Shen Group are inevitable. Please Yu'an, be sure to choose a trustworthy person to accompany you. Shen Yu'an's eyes warmed slightly when he saw the last sentence. As early as 20 years ago, his mother knew that this information was too heavy for him to carry alone. The information is divided into 3 parts. The first part is evidence of illegal financing and misappropriation of compensation funds for the Old City project 20 years ago. The second part is the capital flow between Lu Wenchuan, Liang family, the Gu family, and overseas funds. The third part has only 4 words in the title. Yu'an risk. Shen Yu'an's heart sank. He clicked it. Inside is a risk deduction left by Shen Yu'an during his lifetime. She speculated that once Shen Yu'an is counterattacked by Lu Wenchuan in the future, the heir of the Shen family will become the only index of the old case information. If Lu Wenchuan cannot obtain the data, it may choose to make the heir disappear, making the data permanently unopenable. There is also a line of notes written by her herself below. If I weren't here, Chongshan might not be able to protect Yuan. He is too soft-hearted and too convinced that giving in can bring peace. Shen Yu'an closed his eyes. It turns out that mother sees things most clearly. The father's problem is not evil, but a matter of luck. He thought that by withdrawing from the old case, he could gain safety, that by hiding the information, he could protect his family, and that by not involving Shen Yu'an, he could be protected. But people like Lu Wenchuan never give up just because others give in. The information continues to unfold. One of the recordings is an early conversation between Shen Yu'an and Lu Wenchuan. Lu Wenchuan's voice was gentle. "Miss Shen, hand over the information, and I guarantee that the Shen family is safe." Shen Yu'an was very calm. "Mr. Lu, your guarantee, like your contract, is only valid when you need it." Lu Wenchuan smiled. "You are smarter than Shen Chongshan." Shen Yu'an said, "So I know that the Shen family is really finished when the information is handed over to you." The recording ends here. No one spoke in the conference room. Chenzhou looked at the screen with a deep coldness in his eyes. Lu Wenchuan has long known that the information is in the Shen family. Shen Yu'an whispered, "But he doesn't know where it is, and he doesn't know that the final key is me." Lin Jiyue answered, "It wasn't until around the Shen Group crisis that he confirmed that you were the key through Shen Chongshan, the Gu family or other clues. That's why there were car accidents in previous lives." Zhou Jibai looks ugly. The real operator has always been Lu Wenchuan. He used the Gu family to get close to Mr. Shen, used Chen Mingyuan to hollow out Shen Group, used Qixing to swallow up assets, and then used a car accident to prevent Lanzhou from ever being opened. All the clues finally fit together. Shen Yu'an stared at the screen, but there was no intense anger in his heart as he imagined. He just felt cold. A kind of coldness that finally sees the bottom of the abyss. Lu Wenchuan is not a temporary act, nor is it driven to the edge of crime by profit. He has been cleaning up all those who might threaten him since 20 years ago. Shen Yu'an, Shen Chongshan, Shen Yu'an, and even Lu Chenzhou's mother may all be victims in his web. At the end of the information, there is an encrypted video. After the technical supervisor clicked on it, Shen Yu'an appeared on the screen. She looks younger than Shen Yu'an remembers, pale but gentle. "Yuan, if you see this video, your mother probably won't be able to stay with you for a long time." Shen Yu'an's eyes instantly turned red. In the video, Shen Yu'an smiled lightly. "Don't be afraid of the truth. The truth hurts, but lies can make people die without knowing why. Mom hopes that you will be safe throughout your life, but if peace requires you to be blindfolded forever, then it is not peace, it is a prison. So, open it. If someone accompanies you here, please see if he is trustworthy. A truly trustworthy person is not one who never makes mistakes, but one who is willing to bear the cost with you in the face of mistakes." Shen Yu'an's tears finally fell. Lu Chenzhou stood beside him, not extending his hand. But at this moment, Shen Yu'an took the initiative to hold his hand. Very hard. Lu Chenzhou's eyes trembled fiercely. The video ends. The conference room was still quiet. Shen Yu'an wiped away tears with a steady voice. "Back up 3 copies. 1 to the police, 1 to the supervisor, and 1 to the final board of directors." Lin Jiyue nodded. Lu Chenzhou looked at him. "Are you sure? Director Shen will also be implicated." Shen Yu'an closed his eyes, and his eyes were clear when he opened them again. "Okay." He looked at the last image of his mother on the screen. "The truth hurts. But this time, I don't want anyone to die in a lie." After Lanzhou's information was submitted, the Old City project officially restarted its investigation. This incident was like a depth charge, instantly tearing apart the capital circle that had been peaceful for many years in the city.
Illegal financing, misappropriation of compensation funds, and overseas fund transfers 20 years ago have been rediscovered, implicating not only Lu Wenchuan and the Liang family, but also several now established companies. Shen Group has also been pushed to the forefront. Shen Chongshan signed on to old projects when he was young. Although evidence of his attempts to withdraw and expose were left behind later, the fact that he had participated cannot be erased. Shen Group's stock price fluctuated again. The media started asking with sharp headlines. Is Shen Group a victim or a participant in an old case from 20 years ago? This time, Shen Yu'an didn't hide. He held the press conference himself. Before the press conference, Shen Chongshan called. My father's voice was tired. Yuan, you don't have to speak for me. Shen Yu'an stood in the background, looking at himself in the mirror. I know. Shen Chongshan was silent for a while. I really missed it when I was young. At that time, I wanted Shen Group to stand firm too much, and I also believed too much that some gray areas could be escaped. Later, I wanted to withdraw, but it was already too late. Shen Yu'an listened, his eyes were a little sore, but his voice was steady. Dad, I won't call you a completely innocent person today. Shen Chongshan whispered, this is right. But I won't let Lu Wenchuan put all the blame on you. There was silence on the other end of the phone for a long time. Shen Chongshan's voice choked up. Yuan, you have really grown up. Shen Yu'an smiled. The price is quite high. The press conference begins. Aim the lens at Shen Yu'an. He was wearing a black suit and his face was colder than usual, but he didn't dodge at all. Regarding the Old City project 20 years ago, Shen Group officially submitted all available information today to cooperate with relevant units to restart the investigation. Shen Group will not deny the problems that exist in history, nor will it use victim status to cover up past mistakes. Mr. Shen Chongshan participated in this project when he was young, and we do not shy away from this. The reporters in the audience immediately became commotion. Shen Yu'an continued, but at the same time, the information also shows that Lu Wenchuan and its related capital led the fund transfer in the later stage of the project, and used old cases to coerce and short Shen Group many years later, leading to a series of commercial crimes and personal risk incidents. A reporter asked, Mr. Shen, do you think your father is also the perpetrator? This question is very acute. Shen Yu'an looked at the other party. I think everyone is responsible for the documents they sign. My father is the same. The reporter asked, are you worried that Shen Group will be damaged again? Worry. Shen Yu'an said calmly, but if a company can only survive by concealing historical problems, it is inherently unhealthy. Shen Group, if you want to survive, you must first clear up the old wounds. This press conference is more effective than any public relations rhetoric. Because Shen Yu'an does not package Shen Group as a pure victim. He admitted his mistake and pointed the finger at the real operator. After a brief shock, the market began to re-evaluate Shen Group governance transparency. After the press conference, Shen Yu'an walked off the stage, and Lu Chenzhou stood waiting for him backstage. He didn't cross the line and just handed him a bottle of water. Shen Yu'an took it and took a sip. I just dragged my dad into it. Lu Chenzhou said, you are saving Shen Group. Maybe I'm hurting him with my own hands. Director Shen will understand. Shen Yu'an lowered his eyes. I always thought that as long as I found the person who harmed me, things would be easy. Later I learned that there are not so many clean people in the truth. Lu Chenzhou looked at him. That's why it's even harder if you're still willing to open it. Shen Yu'an smiled. Are you complimenting me? Yes. Mr. Lu is getting more and more complimentary now. Lu Chenzhou has a faint smile in his eyes. The two walked out of the press conference side by side. The media outside the door were still asking questions, and flashlights were on. Shen Yu'an did not hide. Lu Chenzhou did not block all the shots for him, but only half a step behind, standing where he could see it. This is the most comfortable distance for them now. Don't cover him. Nor leave him. At the same time, Lu Wenchuan watched the entire press conference in Lu Group's office. His expression finally darkened completely.
The assistant asked in a low voice, "Director Lu, what should we do now?" Lu Wenchuan turned off the screen. "Since they want to uncover old cases, let everyone get involved together." The assistant was shocked. Lu Wenchuan's tone remains gentle. Preparing for the final board meeting. It's time for Chenzhou to step down. After the old case was reopened, Lu Wenchuan began a full-scale counterattack. He did not immediately deny Lanzhou's information, but adopted a more insidious strategy, admitting that there were problems in some old cases, but splitting and diluting the responsibility, and pointing the finger at Shen Yu'an and Chenzhou. Regarding Shen Yu'an, he said that the other party actively participated in illegal financing back then, but now he just wants to use Lu Wenchuan to divert attention. Regarding Chenzhou, he hinted that Chenzhou had cleaned up some old files after taking over Lu Group in the early years. Therefore, he may have known about the existence of old cases, but chose to conceal them in order to gain power. These statements are mixed with half-truth and falsehood and are very difficult to deal with. The most fatal thing is that a new recording was anonymously sent to the media. In the recording, the young Shen Yu'an seemed to be saying, "This money will be transferred to Shen Group's account first, and then transferred out later. Lu Wenchuan will handle it completely." If this recording is true, Shen Yu'an did not just stumble into an old case, but actively assisted in the transfer of funds. Shen Group will be hit hard again. When Shen Yu'an received the recording, it was checking Lanzhou's information with Chenzhou. After hearing this, his face turned serious. "My dad wouldn't say that. Not blind trust. But the tone is wrong." Shen Yu'an may have made mistakes when he was young, but in the many recordings left by his mother, he was most concerned about compensation and the legality of funds. He may hesitate or give in, but he will not speak in such a tone of proactive money laundering. Chenzhou took the recording. He listened twice and frowned. There are traces of splicing, but it's very clever. Lin Jiyue contacted voiceprint identification immediately. It takes time for the results to come out. But the media won't wait. The recordings have begun to proliferate. The transparent image Shen Group had just established through the press conference was once again questioned. Shen Qingtang rushes into the office. "Someone on the board of directors can't sit still. They asked you to suspend the disclosure of old case information to protect the Shen Group stock price first." Shen Yu'an sneered. "To stop now is to admit that the recording is real." "I know, but they're scared. If you're afraid, let them resign." Shen Qingtang looked at him and suddenly smiled. "Okay, I'll tell you." After she left, Chenzhou looked at Shen Yu'an. Lu Wenchuan's goal this time was not to prove Director Shen's guilt, but to force Shen Yu'an to waver. Shen Yu'an nodded. "He knows that I just publicly said that Shen Group will face historical issues. If this recording cannot be clarified in time, I will be forced to choose between my father and the truth. What are you going to do?" Shen Yu'an looked at the recording waveform on the screen. "Find the original recording." Chenzhou said, "It may be in Lanzhou's information." The two immediately returned to the database. There are many recordings of the Lanzhou project, and they are all minutes of meetings at different times 20 years ago. It's not easy to find the original material that was dropped. They searched all night. At 4 o'clock in the morning, Shen Yu'an finally found a similar voiceprint clip in a folder labeled Compensation Meeting. In the original recording, the complete sentence spoken by Shen Yu'an is, "This money cannot be transferred to Shen Group's account, nor can it be transferred out later." Lu Wenchuan said it would deal with it cleanly, but this matter was not clean from the beginning. The version received by the media deleted "cannot" in the second half of the sentence, and respelled it with the exact opposite meaning. Shen Yu'an closed his eyes after listening to the original recording. "My father is not squeaky clean." But at least in this case, he had refused. Chenzhou immediately lets Zhou Jibai arrange technical qualification synchronization. At 8 a.m., Shen Group released the original recording, waveform comparison, and preliminary voiceprint identification report, and officially reported the case in the name of Shen Group, accusing someone of maliciously forging evidence from old cases. Public opinion reversed again. But Shen Yu'an knows that this is not the end. Lu Wenchuan did not hesitate to fake the recording, indicating that he was ready to push the battlefield to the final board. At noon, Chenzhou receives notification from Lu Group. 3 days later, Lu Group will convene an interim board of directors to consider whether Chenzhou has suspended the group's execution rights due to old case risks and recent improper decision-making. Lu Wenchuan takes action. Shen Yu'an looked at the notification with a calm expression. He's going to force you to step down. Chenzhou said calmly, he has been waiting for this day for a long time. Shen Yu'an raised his eyes. Then let him wait till the end. Chenzhou looked at him with a glimmer of light in his eyes. You want to join in? Shen Yu'an organizes the original recordings and Lanzhou data into a folder. It's not just about getting in. His voice was steady. I want Lu Wenchuan to watch him lose on his own board of directors. 2 days before the Lu Group interim board meeting, Chenzhou took the initiative to hand over part of its authority. This decision shocked the entire. He temporarily handed over the management rights of overseas funds that may have conflicts of interest in old cases to an independent regulatory group. At the same time, he proactively asked the third-party legal team to review all his decision-making records related to Shen Group, Xixing, and Hengyuan in the past 3 years. On the surface, this seems to be undermining one's own authority. In fact, this step directly blocks the most important attack hole of Lu Wenchuan. Chenzhou is unwilling to accept review. Lu Wenchuan originally wanted to force him to hand over the rights, but now Chenzhou handed it over himself first, but instead expanded the scope of review to the entire assets related to the old case. But the cost is still huge. Many people inside Lu Group began to waver. Capital markets also experienced volatility. Some people say that Chenzhou is proving his innocence, while others say that this means that he is really at risk of falling into an old case. Lu Group's stock price fell briefly, and the pressure within the board of directors increased sharply. Zhou Jibai put the latest market report on the table with a bad expression. Mr. Lu, if this continues, the number of votes cast by the board of directors that day may become very dangerous. Chenzhou looks calm. I know. You don't have to pay so much. If I don't pay, Lu Wenchuan will say I have a guilty conscience. If you hand it over, he will say you are out of control. Chenzhou raised his eyes. So the point is not how I do it, but who can present the real evidence on the board. Zhou Jibai understood. That person is Shen Yu'an. But this also means that Chenzhou places its own success or failure on the evidence chain that Shen Yu'an is about to enter. This was never the case with the previous Chenzhou. He will not relinquish the initiative to anyone. But now, he handed over the most important battle to Shen Yu'an. In the evening, Shen Yu'an came to Lu Group. He is not here to comfort Chenzhou, but to verify the final board information. The two of them were sitting in a conference room, with the table covered with information. Lanzhou documents, Guyansi USB flash drive, Shen Mingyuan testimony, Suming testimony, Hengyuan backup, and forged recording identification report, each one is like a chess piece. Shen Yu'an turned to the announcement of Chenzhou's initiative to hand over power and frowned. You pay too much. Chenzhou looked at him. That way the board of directors will believe that I'm willing to be scrutinized. It will also make them feel that you have been forced to retreat. That's just the truth. Shen Yu'an raised his eyes became colder. Are you using self-harm in exchange for trust again? Chenzhou was silent. This question is too accurate. Shen Yu'an closed the file. Chenzhou, I don't need you to put yourself on the altar. Chenzhou whispered, I didn't. You have. Shen Yu'an looked at him, you felt that you hid too much from me in the past, so now you choose to retreat to the most extreme position when it comes to anything related to me. This is not respect, it is another kind of compensation. Chenzhou froze. Shen Yu'an stood up and walked to him. I don't want to be trapped by you, and I don't want to see you risk everything just to avoid trapping me. Chenzhou looked up at him. Shen Yu'an's voice is a little softer. I am standing by your side now, not because of how much power you handed over, nor because of how much price you paid. It's because I want to win together. Something moved violently beneath Chenzhou's eyes.
Shen Yu'an shoved a revised board policy in front of him. It is okay to hand over overseas fund management rights to independent supervision, but there is no need to suspend all your execution rights. You must retain the core voting rights of Lu Group, otherwise if Lu Wenchuan strikes on the spot, we will have no counter-leverage.
Lu Chenzhou looked at the plan.
Shen Yu'an continued, the third-party review can be expanded, but the review objects must include all historical trusts controlled by Lu Wenchuan. You can't just put yourself on it, but also drag him on. Lu Chenzhou suddenly smiled very softly.
Shen Yu'an frowned. What are you laughing at? Laugh at me for being so stupid before. Mr. Lu was quite self-aware.
Yeah. Lu Chenzhou looked at him, his voice low.
I always wanted to block for you before, but now I know that you are better at fighting than me. Shen Yu'an said coldly, it's good to know.
But the base of his ears turned slightly red. When Zhou Jibai opened the door and came in, he happened to see two people standing very close to each other.
He paused and immediately left. I'll come back in 5 minutes. Shen Yu'an. Lu Chenzhou's eyes smiled deeper.
Shen Yu'an looked at him coldly.
Concentrate. The meeting lasted late into the night. Before leaving, Shen Yu'an looked at the cold coffee in Lu Chenzhou's hand and frowned. Have you had dinner? Lu Chenzhou was silent. Shen Yu'an sneered.
Okay, the board of directors doesn't have to wait for Lu Wenchuan to remove you, you can starve to death first.
He picked up his phone and ordered a meal. Lu Chenzhou looked at him and said nothing.
Shen Yu'an raised his eyes.
What are you looking at? It's up to you to take care of me.
Shen Yu'an's fingers paused. As an ally, I will prevent your low blood sugar from affecting your combat effectiveness.
Lu Chenzhou whispered, yes, ally.
But those two words came out of his mouth with a bit of gentleness that they shouldn't have.
Shen Yu'an looks away.
He knew he still wasn't ready to go back to Lu Chenzhou. But he also knew that he was no longer here just for revenge.